Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very, very, very good. So it has been brought to my attention to watch this new video from Trisha, which is titled, "This Affected Me More Than I Thought." And apparently it's a video of her getting ready, and she talks loosely about the situation at hand and kind of where she's at. And a lot of people were saying that they wanted me to react to it, and what the muckers want, I will give it to them. So here it is right here. Do you like my shirt, by the way? It says I don't want to cook anymore, and it's Remy. Love it. And then Remy back there. So here's her video, and just kind of looking off the comments, someone said, "Trisha, I know you have had a bad past and done bad things, but nobody deserves what Colleen did to you. It is absolutely disgusting, and I absolutely do not condone and wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Please take time to heal and process." This is kind of giving us an idea of what this video is going to be about. "I am proud of you and how you've grown and matured, and I don't care what anyone else says. You're becoming a good and better person." Sorry, I'm drinking a Red Bull, so we're going to be a little bit gassy. "And I hope you heal." Someone said, "Trisha, just take one day at a time. Don't let these people ruin your life. I love you, and I love that you started a podcast in a positive environment." All right, okay. "The internet does not allow people to grow. It freezes people in time for viewers, depending on what a part of a creator's life they're focused on. You cannot control that. Just keep growing. I think you should make a therapy appointment, Trisha. What happened to you was a lot. I can only imagine the emotions you went through. You were victimized. A few therapy sessions to help you unpack would be great." Okay, so let's hear it. This is a get ready with me video, so I don't know if we're going to jump immediately into it or whatever, but I don't want to skip around to be insensitive, but let's hear what Trisha has to say.
I took my lashes off because I was vlogging on TikTok, but I have my...
Is that a Michael... Whoa, that was loud. Is that a Michael Bublé shirt? Who is that?
And it's so comfy.
Michael Bublé? That's not Michael Bublé. Does that say Michael Bublé?
She is sleeping for now.
Michael Bobble? Who is that? Michael Bobley? Who's that? Who's that on her shirt?
But the podcast for tomorrow got rescheduled to Saturday. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's really fine. If things get rescheduled, it's like for the better, like better people, better energy, better vibes. So I'm super excited about doing the interview and then also just having a day off tomorrow. It was my last day of Hebrew classes. Sorry, big owners. I was just looking. Last day of Hebrew classes, and so I was like really sad I was gonna miss it, and I ended up kind of like working out. So I was like, everything happens for a reason. I'm like never stressed about anything, you know. And like I said, I'm always just honored when anybody wants to like come on my podcast. You know, they were there. Oh, she's like kind of.
Damn, she's giving us ASMR right off the bat.
Sometimes when you do like a lot of hair, it's like just gonna be uncomfortable because it's a lot of hair.
Why does this have 800 dislikes already? Like, this is not a good ratio. Is this video controversial or?
Lunch, but
I have no idea what's going on.
you know, it wasn't like that bad. I guess the cheese or whatever. I had pasta and ice cream today. What am I saying? Me eating better, like replacing a meal with like a salad a day. And honestly, I do feel a little better. Like not having, you know, I used to kind of eat like a big lunch and a big breakfast. Cause like I'm my mom and we're happy and we love to just eat and go out to eat and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to make like a little bit of healthier choices so we can still go out to eat and like enjoy our afternoon out. But like, you know, have a salad. Marmalade Cafe has like really good salads, Health Nut, you know, so I'm convincing myself that I crave salad. I don't crave salad, but you know, there's that. Let me show TikTok my clean face. I think it looks good. I was washing my face and I'm like, let me just show that like I like love these skin bars. Like literally, they're so like low. Sorry, there's literally.
What is going on?
They're very low. Like in the shower, kind of usually I wash my face. But no matter what I do, if I like skip all my other skin stuff.
What is going on, Queen?
It's the whole kit. But I'm telling you, like night and day, without fail, I use that, and my skin is like so good and glowy. I have like one little breakout from chocolate and cheese. It's a whole separate story. All right. I also just drank like literally half of this on my TikTok because I love water.
Ooh, that Barbie cup is fierce. I do not want to hear the swallowing.
Preparing my body for hopefully pregnancy this month because we can like try again. It's like the last day of my period. I'm sorry that's TMI, but we can try again.
Hearing people talk about the fact that, sorry, I know this isn't her talking about Colleen yet, and I know she does talk about Colleen in this because enough people have sent it to me, so we're just waiting for that. whenever people tell me that they're like trying for a baby, okay, for everyone that's commenting, we can't hear her or anything like that. Blame her, not me. Don't know what to say to you in the chat right now. Don't know what to say to you. I'm holding a mic to her, and I also have a sound system set up on my PC to pick up the audio from her phone. She's filming this on a fucking iPhone. Go to her and complain. I don't want to hear it. Anyway, whenever people in chat already know where I'm going with this. This is so unrelated to the point, but whenever people tell me they're trying for a baby, I'm like, you're literally just telling me that like you're raw fucking. And it just I think it's weirder whenever it's like family members that do it. And I've told this story before of like my cousin used to come into like my nana and granddad's and be like, we were so tired because we were trying for a baby last night. And my nana and granddad would be like, oh, good luck with that. And I'm like, they basically just told you that they're like raw fucking and you're like, have fun. I think it's so, I'm like, time and place. And you did it on the Trisha Paytas YouTube channel. Time and place. I think it's so, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I understand the concept of it, but like if we strip back and you know, whenever people are like, they wear shirts and it's like, I'm cooking with his oil and stuff. I'm like, what do you mean? And like people wear those shirts to like Disney and stuff like that. I'm like, time and place.
Exciting, and I mean, it's always fun to try, right? And I'm just like trying not to think about it, but really giving myself just like, I'm trying to just relax this month and just, I don't know, I feel like I kind of.
What are all these noises?
And it's not drama, because to me it's like very serious issue, things that happened this summer, and I don't want to dwell on it, but I also like feel like I should go to like therapy again, because I kind of stopped therapy this summer. Because I really just felt like I had a really good grip of my life, and I had the tools, and I learned it through therapy, and I had the tools I needed to kind of navigate. And this is something that's kind of like different for me, where it's like, is this engaging in trauma? But like, it's also like something that like really affected me. Like,
I think this is interesting, and I think Trisha is voicing everything she voiced in that email to me, where she is wanting to talk about everything that happened with Colleen, but she doesn't want to talk about it because people are going to deem it as drama, which I understand, but it very clearly is something she wants to talk about, but is trying to find the balance of how can I talk about this without people saying that I'm like jumping on a bandwagon, or I'm, you know, I mean, Trisha Paytas has such a history of, you know, losing friends and then making videos about them. And I think that this is an instance where she's completely valid to speak up against someone, but I think she's in such a hard place because, you know, she has worked hard to move past this mold of like constantly calling people out. But this time it's like she really, you know, is valid in calling someone out in this instance. And I 100% understand where she's coming from, and I think reading her email even more so. I mean, I talked about that in my video about Trisha, where she openly said that to me. She's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I really, really, really like feel the need to talk about this, but once I start talking about it, people are gonna like write me off and write me off in the situation, and I don't know what to do. And it's like I completely sympathize with her in that. And she said something in the email as well that was super interesting. And she was like, you know, Adam, you cover drama and commentary. So I've seen people criticize you for like, you know, the same thing they would criticize me for. She kind of made this comparison of like what we do, people will love to write off whenever we talk about something serious, because they're like, oh, look at your track history. You know, with Trisha, it's constantly calling out friends. So what's different about this one, right? And then for me, it's like, oh, like, why are you calling someone out whenever on YouTube you call out like a bunch of people? Like, you know, you read articles, you watch videos, you do commentary. And I thought it was an interesting point she made, because I have experienced some of that where people were like, oh, like, why are we to trust what he says about Colleen? Because look, he made a video on Tana Mojo calling her out. But they're two very different situations, but I can understand why people try to write me off, because it's a very easy way to write me off. And however, there's other reasons that Trisha Paytas can get written off that I particularly can't relate to. But if we're speaking about, you know, specific situations with being involved in drama or something like that, like both of us have, you know, faced the consequences of what we do on YouTube being used against us whenever we're actually talking about an important situation. Again, I mean this one isolated incident with Trisha because it's, you know, this is the only thing I really relate to Trisha on, which is this instance. And I 100% sympathize with her, because what I can tell you, because she's not, I don't know if she's going to say it, or I don't know if she's going to go in as much detail about it. She really, really, really wants to talk about this, and she doesn't know how to, based on the losing a friend aspect, losing a friend with Colleen. But furthermore, she doesn't want to, go into the mold of what people expect her to do, because they're going to use it against her whenever she really, really, really has opinions on this and wants something done about it. And that was what we spoke about. So whenever she's saying this, I can promise you that behind the scenes, she's saying the exact same thing. She's trying to figure out what to do with this information. She's trying to figure out what to do next. And so everything that you're hearing here is, with this isolated incident, what I believe she's being genuine in. Again, this isolated incident.
It's like, it really affects me, and again, it's just trying to like move on and protect my peace and all stuff like that. But at the same time, like trying to stand up for myself, or like stand up for like what I believe in at the same time, and not being like, just, I don't know. It's so difficult, and I'm like just trying to like, I don't know, just figuring it all out. And like even now talking about it, I feel like I'm giving like shortness of breath and like anxiety. I really did on Monday feel like, and this is like, a month later or whatever, and I like literally felt like I don't know, almost felt like a heart attack. And I'm not trying to be like dramatic or anything when I say that, because like it wasn't, obviously. And a lot of times like, people see severe panic attacks, I feel like that, like tightness, like literally. But when I tell you, I felt like actual physical tightness in the chest, and like I don't know if I've ever had like a panic attack like that before, if that's what it was. But if that's what it wasn't, if I just had tightness of the chest for like health reasons, like that's why we've been going on walks every morning, which I don't think I've been vlogging. Like today we didn't, but we've been going on walks.
Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people say what the equivalent of this person is saying is like, don't think everything in that email wasn't calculated from Trisha, the email she sent me. But even if it was, I don't care. I'm sorry if that's harsh. I don't care if everything Trisha said in that email was calculated. I also don't care if she's lying to me in this email. I really don't care. I'm going to be honest with you, and here's the reason why. Because for so long, I just wanted Trisha to acknowledge what I was saying about Colleen, because she was still befriending her and still publicly promoting her, even until I posted my video, and even after I posted my video. I don't care what her intentions were. I really, really, really don't. And I'm sorry if that sounds harsh or anything like that. She could have sat in that email and said she doesn't believe me and that go fuck yourself, Adam, and I would still have been appreciative of the email, because Trisha never openly had this dialogue about things I was trying to tell her about Colleen. So even if she agreed or disagreed with me, it was a form of reacting to it, which is what I wanted Trisha to do, because I felt that like if Colleen had done to me, what Colleen had done to Trisha, I would want the other person to at least be aware of it. And for so many years, it felt like Trisha was actively pretending that it wasn't existing. So even if she believed me or didn't believe me, as long as I knew that she knew and acknowledged it, that was all that mattered to me. And here's the thing, again, do I believe that her email was genuine? Yeah, I do. Would I be upset if I found out that she wrote it and was laughing and trying to figure out how to manipulate me or whatever? Would I be annoyed at that? No, because I really, really, really didn't expect the amount that she wrote to me, but also I don't care. Like, I really, really, really don't care. I have no relationship with Trisha Paytas. We relate on this one instance, and this one instance, all I wanted to know was that Trisha Paytas heard what I told about her to her about Colleen, and she did. Whether she wanted to be like, thank you for telling me, I don't agree with you, or I don't believe you, that would have even been fine as well. I just was like, if I am trying to publicly talk about this, I've been privately telling her as well. So the acknowledgement of it was enough for me to feel like, okay, that weight is lifted off my chest, if that makes sense. If that makes sense to you. Chat, does that make sense? And my mum said I read it and it was genuine. And again, this is like, it doesn't matter if it wasn't genuine. I do believe it was genuine. There was a lot of opening up that happened in it. But even if it wasn't genuine, I was not looking for Trisha Paytas to send me a big email being like, I love you, I forgive you, you're my best. This was not what I was wanting from Trisha Paytas, nor what I was looking for. I sent her an email first, I basically, apologized for things. I opened up about other things. I talked about the Colleen thing. I said that I was frustrated. She wasn't acknowledging it. She sent one back explaining some things, talking off the record. And even if she hadn't have emailed me back, I knew that I had sent her that first email, and it felt like it was a weight off my chest. And I know that there's people coming in here and disagreeing with me, but I want you to know that I am the person that this topic is also about. It's me and Trisha Paytas. So in the most respectful way, if a lot of you don't believe that the email was genuine or whatever, I don't really care, because, and trust me, I care about most opinions with most other things, but I don't within this one instance, because this has been a situation that I've been holding on to since it happened. And it's a situation Trisha found out about herself. We're really the only people involved in it. I respect if people don't like Trisha. I respect if people don't think the email was genuine or intentions, whatever. I believe that they were, and I'm fine with even living in delusion. You know why? Because I don't care any further than that. I don't follow Trisha Paytas on social media. She unblocked me on social media. Like, we don't have a relationship nor want a relationship. This was one situation we had one lengthy conversation about, and that's it. You know what I mean? So I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to people who like disagree with Trisha's intentions in it. I read the email and I took it how I took it. My mom read the email, she took it how she took it. And at the end of the day, we're the only ones who've read the email. I've told you specific parts of it or whatever, and that really, to me, was all I wanted. I got more from Trisha than what I did from Colleen or something like that, right? So that's kind of my take on that. So when I watch this video, everything Trisha's saying about not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say, is exactly what she's saying behind closed doors. But there was never once that I, showed that email publicly or anything like that. So if we're going to use the argument Trisha is using me as a voice piece or a mouthpiece or whatever, I have not relayed, that long ass fucking email, because I don't care to, do that. So anyway, just to do that point.
Walks as soon as we wake up, 6 o'clock, because it gets so hot here. And I'm thinking about going to the gym and getting a trainer, starting just once a week to get into it, because I'm out of shape, and I'm sure that will help with fertility and just me feeling better. And like I said, kind of just replacing it's not just for the photo shoot, but just kind of in general going forward, having my breakfast, whether it's wheat toast or yogurt, and then having my lunch be a salad or rotisserie chicken or just something very light and healthy. And then dinner I try to eat reasonable, a baked potato the other night. I don't know if that reasonable. No, we eat steaks and stuff, which I don't know. I'm just trying my best. It's actually really hard because
healthy era.
Eating or eating disorder makes me.
I don't even eat like this.
Come to terms with I have a mental illness. It doesn't go away. It's something that I live with. It's something that I have to maintain. And there's constant triggers online, and that's fine. That's online. That's a very simple solution. Get offline. But it's my job. I love being online. I love what I do, and it's really ultimately I have to deal with triggers in real life anyways. There's real life triggers, there's online triggers, there's there's a lot that can trigger me, and so I have to deal with it. And I'm thankful that I have the tools to deal with it. But there are days where it can feel overwhelming, and especially when something like what this summer happened, it just was all levels of triggering, just on so many levels. What I'm not saying is good, not good enough. Oh, but I'm awful too, so I shouldn't say anything if something awful happened to me. I didn't speak out sooner. I didn't speak out unless it happened to me, which in my head, in my logic, I'm I don't know what's truth, what not. I believe my friend, or I believe people on the internet that have had issues with me in the past or something. And it was
and Adam McIntyre call out. All right. I mean, so that's an interesting point that she's bringing up again. I mean, she said this time and time again, where she's whenever everything was brought up, who do I believe, my friend or just someone online I've had issues with? Which again is an argument that has been used against Trisha. So I don't know how valid it is to use against me. You know what I mean? Trisha has said, she wishes people wouldn't use people that have issues with her as a reason to not listen to her, but I'm not going to bring up that argument, even though I just did, just out of being petty. But sorry, there's always a petty side in me that is willing to bring that up yet again. But I mean, it's, something she felt. Like, what was she going to believe? Colleen or people online that were, posting proof of what we were talking about? I mean, the easier one is to believe your friend who, you're making a podcast with and making a lot of money off of. I'm not saying that in a shady way. I'm saying that in a realistic way. You know what I mean? I'm just calling a spade with so much respect. That is, the truth of the situation. Ultimately, whenever she saw proof and stuff, she ended up believing it. But there's that, I guess. And I mean, I wouldn't know how to react in a situation where I was being told that my friend was doing all this stuff to me and whatnot, and being told about it, for months before, I guess, the proof hit the internet. But we all handle things differently. But I guess I would have listened or reached out to the people and maybe asked more. I'm not saying that to blame Trisha, because I think that I can't put myself in a position that I'm not in. But, it's, she was filming podcast episodes with Colleen after I posted my videos on Colleen. Like, she told me in the email that she had filmed an episode of the podcast with Colleen like a week after I posted all my videos on Colleen. So, I had been telling Trisha for a while the things, publicly, privately, reaching out, and I had been posting my videos that week, and the videos, within the first week hit the media. In 2020, it was different. In 2020, I also didn't see a lot because I ended up just like removing everything off my phone. But in 2020, it took until Colleen responded really for the media to pick up on it. In 2023, the media really picked up on this story within 24 hours, 48 hours. So after I had posted a couple videos on it, after most of the commentary and drama, channels that talked about it, after multiple news stories, like Impact's Instagram story that, or Instagram post that, had hundreds of thousands of likes talking about this, like all these credible news sites posting about this. I mean, it's important to note as well, as much as I give her praise for it, after all that, she decided to sit down and film another episode of the podcast with Colleen. I'm not saying that to blame her, but I am saying it to provide a little bit of context. I'm so grateful for how Trisha opened up to me behind the scenes, and I'm very appreciative of her words and how, supportive she is of me in this instance now. And I'm trying my best to do the exact same with her. And I've openly apologized for, pushing her so much to talk about this. But there is a part of me that will always hold on to the fact that I had been letting Trisha know these things for a long time without her wanting to hear them. But also the weeks that I posted my video, after I posted those videos, she still decided to sit down and film a podcast episode with Colleen. And if we speak specifically about the podcast, I uploaded, like a video after they did their podcast together. And I was openly talking about the fact that Colleen was, still bullying Trisha and stuff. Like, when they were doing the podcast. Hold on. Like, look at this. Like, even in the moment. About the podcast. 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 And then that was it. I was filming responses to her podcast with Colleen, actively telling her that this is not her friend and that Colleen is bullying her, and my story never changed. And warning her. So, I am so sympathetic towards Trisha Paytas. I really, really, really cannot tell you how much I am within this one instance. But she's still the person who decided to film episodes with Colleen after all that came out, after telling me that Colleen would openly talk to her about being cancelled and all like this. So her and Colleen were having open dialogue about it. And after, the media week of my 2023 videos, she still decided to film another episode in the peak of Colleen being called out, which has now not been posted because then, Trisha decided to, believe the story and decided not to promote Colleen anymore. But there's always going to be a part of me, as sympathetic as what I am to Trisha, like I really, really, really am, but it really, really, really will always upset me, the fact that people will be like, well, why didn't you warn Trisha, or why didn't you? And I'm like, all I did was do that. And, I apologize to Trisha for saying sorry that, I said that you didn't speak up until it affected you. And I do mean that. There will always just be a part of me that's like, she didn't want to listen to me. And there's an episode of their podcast that they filmed like days after I posted all my videos this year, when all of the media was talking about it. Colleen was silent on social, like that is the thing. When Colleen was off social media, literally was already like a week or 2 weeks into her social media silence, Trisha sat down and filmed a podcast with her, like their 4th episode. And it really, really, really will still bother me to this day. It does. And I feel guilty for saying that because, I have apologized to Trisha for, kind of pushing her to speak up and stuff. But I don't like the narrative of like, well, you alerted her too late or anything. It's like, no, like, you know what I'm saying. But it really does bother me still. It really, really, really does bother me still. And I'm so grateful and so appreciative that, Trisha has been so sweet in this topic to me behind the scenes now, and even publicly saying that she stands by me and stuff. But it just really, I don't know what else to say. Like, she couldn't have been warned more. She couldn't have been told more. Like, and then to say that, people make the argument of, well, you should have let her know sooner. I mean, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. And like, aside from her not wanting to listen, that's one thing. But like during Colleen's social media silence, because Colleen was refusing to address any of the things, Trisha invited her over and filmed a podcast with her while Colleen was silent on social media because she wasn't addressing things. It's like, she actively went out of her way to show Colleen like how much she supports her. Even whenever I was speaking up against, Oliver was speaking, Becky was speaking up, like everyone had already spoken up. Colleen was in her social media break, and Trisha decided to still invite her over and film a podcast episode that hopefully, soon they can post. It is a slap in the face, and I don't know how else to say that. It's okay to feel upset, but somewhat grateful in the situation. Yeah, I guess that's currently where I'm at with it. So, I'm just, the Trisha thing has me in such in just such a weird place. In such a weird place. Nuance is okay, and two things are often true at the same time. I guess I'll kind of look at it like that.
Quick enough, and then to find out stuff was true and I wasn't believing it, or I was ignoring it, or I was trying to just protect my peace and then therefore not standing up for other people. And it was...
This is the last thing I'm going to say, because I am trying my best to be as supportive of Trisha here. She keeps talking about protecting her peace, and I get it. I respect it. Gotta hop off to go to therapy. I'm joining you. Here's the last thing I'll say is a little bit of criticism. Trisha says that the reason she wasn't talking about it was because she wanted to protect her peace. My rebuttal is, how was protecting your peace filming podcast episodes with her after the media were talking about what she had done to all of us, so much so that Colleen had to be silenced on social media? That is not protecting your peace. You're openly, after the media backlash, choosing to invite her into your home and sit down and film a podcast that you knew you couldn't even upload that week or the week after because she was silent on social media for being cancelled. I don't understand how that's protecting your peace. I don't understand. That's inviting that into your life. That's not protecting your peace. And that's the thing that really bothers me here. And I can't say enough how sympathetic I am towards Trisha in this instance, and I really am on her side with this. But I would be lying to you if I would literally just be sitting here gritting my teeth, because it's something that still sticks by me. And like, Trisha is a victim in this. Trisha is a victim of Colleen. 100%. But there's just like certain things she says that, as someone who also feels that way about Colleen, it just bothers me. And I feel that I can call that out and not have to sit here and feel like a dick that I'm not saying it, because I'm not being honest to all of you. And also, you know, praise her and be there for her and sympathize with her. So I'll leave it there, but like it just weighs so heavily on me, I'll be honest.
It's such a mind, I don't know, like a mind rush, like a game, I'm just blowing my real hair. I don't know. I don't know I just know like I've had anxiety about it. I'm trying to cope, and I thought maybe I should go to therapy, because it's like one of those things where I'm like, well, this is affecting me way more than I thought it should or could or would. It's like I have a family, I have other things that are important, but this is also an important thing, and it's also something that I can't really come to terms with. And I don't know if it's like I feel guilt because something similar very happened to me when I was younger, or I feel guilt because I was somehow involved in this, even though it like what I didn't like, it wasn't my fault. Like someone involuntarily did this awful thing with these of my images. Like it's just it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to think about, and to not talk through it with anyone is like really hard. And like I have obviously with my husband and stuff, but it's something I'm not trying to like. I don't know how to get this out. It's not. I'm gonna find scissors. I don't know. I need scissors, or I can just. I don't know, this is a bit pony. Okay, let's see. I don't know if I should just keep doing this. It's probably so much easier to just cut it. And here I am doing this, but we're gonna just go this route, I guess. Yeah, so that's my life. And you know what's kind of weird? I mean, people have been like supportive, and there's like some people out there that just like to trigger you, just to really knowing you have this history, knowing you're trying to better yourself, and again, I'm not like blaming anyone, like it's my thing, but and just in general, just people just want to see you be not well. You know, I don't think the majority, but it can be a lot. And then, you know, my whole life I have to hear, well, you're an awful person too, so I don't feel sorry for you. And it's like, that's fine. I'm not asking anyone to feel sorry for me at all. But like, that also affects me. And again, it's something I have to deal with, where it's like, oh, maybe I still am, like, you know, maybe I'm collecting karma. Maybe I've done so many bad things. This is, you know, like it's, and I can't think that way because I know it's like more intrusive thought than anything. Like I just need to get back to stronger meditation. I'm kind of been doing like 15 minutes a day, and I feel like I just need to get back to deeper meditation, like an hour, which is a lot of time to take out of my mornings, especially with like my daughter and my husband and stuff. Like I don't want to take that hour, but I think it's like really necessary for me to be as present as I can be and not have this stuff in my head and like thinking about it and stuff, you know? Like when I'm busy, like today's like
Didn't she just say she wouldn't be talking about this again in her original video? What changed? Because this weighs heavily on all of us, and I think that she is so valid for talking about this, because she is a victim in this, you know? And it really is hard to not talk about this, I'll be honest, especially when your job is to make content. It's hard to make videos where you're talking about your day and this is the only thing on your mind. So I'm completely sympathetic towards her for that.
I don't really think about it. But you know, not every day I'm busy, and then now tomorrow I'm like, okay, I have the day off, which I'm like very excited about, because I can like walk and I can finish my Hebrew class and I can really do my meditation. But it's like, will I have more time to just like think? And you know, I don't know. Okay, I think that was pretty easy. My hair is still getting long. I need to get my hair appointment done, but yeah, I love Mel Brooks. I love him so much. Let's go on my shirt. He's done The Producers.
Oh, Mel Brooks? I thought that said Michael Bublé.
Brilliant, and
oh.
His work is so good. And
okay.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I'm sorry, Robin Hood Men in Tights, not Prince of Thieves. He's just so good. I always wish I could have been in a Mel Brooks movie. Like if I could have been in any movie, it would have been like a Mel Brooks movie. But
all right, okay. So I mean, you know, the comments are a lot of people saying, you know, they hope that she gets on well in therapy, and some people are talking about the health things that she talked about. Someone was like, speak up, we cannot hear you. Someone said, I can't hear a word that you're saying. Turn your volume up. Valid. All right, so that's kind of my closing take on the Trisha thing. I'll be honest. I'm really Trisha is a victim in this, and like people need to address her that way. You know what I mean? Like she is, and what she has done in the past does not take away from the fact that in this instance she is a victim and she deserves to be treated like one with, you know, like respect and stuff as well. And that's how I'm speaking and acting about her within this instance. And I can't imagine, you know, being on the other side, you know, of this. You know, I was, you know, there for the conversations with Colleen whenever she was doing this. And, you know, I can't imagine, you know, being the person the conversations were about. You know, whenever Colleen was talking shit about me, you know, in group chats or anything like that, you know, it didn't feel nice to read it. So I can't imagine that, you know, about like your body or something like that, right? And especially like your best friend you're seeing all the time and you have a professional show with. And it's like, I'm really sympathetic towards Trisha in this. And, it's a lot. And I think as well, it's just, I think one thing that is crazy is, by the way, I do just want to say this. When Colleen and Trisha made a podcast together, hold on. Trisha, Paytas, Adam, McIntyre. Hold on. I just like want to show you that the thing of me not letting her know publicly, at least, is not true. When they did a mukbang together, I talked about the fact that Colleen talked and acted about Trisha this way 7 months ago. You know, ooh, look at my hair. When they did the podcast, I would do the same thing. To go to a costume party with. Yeah. Here, when they launched the podcast, I was warning her again. When they did their behind the scenes video, I was actively warning her again. To her and here yet again. So for people to say that I was not giving her, you know, time to respond or I was not letting her know or anything, even publicly, that is not true. Even publicly, that is not true. And it's completely respectful. I'm completely respectful to the fact that she didn't want to believe it. But I just don't like that people kind of rewrite history whenever it comes to me speaking about this. And I think that this was something, well, I guess I really shouldn't be talking about this because the video's not out yet. But in Swip's part 3, you know, this was something that me and Swip talked about. And it was like, you know, I openly told, you know, Trisha privately and publicly that these things were happening. And I openly told Trisha as well as like as kind of like a sense of like, believe me, that, you know, whenever I was 14 and me and Colleen were having these conversations and this back and forth, that I know it was happening because I was engaging in it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't speak for anyone else who's, you know, spoken up. But for me specifically, one of my main things, you know, I brought to the table with Trisha was at 14 years old, I was engaging in these conversations with the 30-something-year-old Colleen. So I know that they were happening because I was engaging in this back and forth with Colleen about you and about your pictures and about this. So I know for a fact, you know what I mean? And I know that she would make fun of you. I know that she would bully you. And I can only speak for myself there, but whenever I was talking to Swip about this and Swip was like, yeah, like you'd let her know. And again, Trisha is a victim in this. And, you know, you could only do what you could do with that information that you knew, especially being 14 and stuff. But I tried my best. And Trisha is a victim and needs to be treated as such. But it does always just kind of sit on me, the fact that like they had like unreleased episode, you know, that was happening when Colleen was silent on social media from being called out. It just kind of makes me feel like, did Trisha invite her over to film that episode hoping that this media stuff was just going to like die down? And like she could just post the episode and, you know, continue making money off the podcast with Colleen. It's like, there were other people that were speaking up against Colleen as well, and you were choosing to not listen to them, and you were choosing to not listen to the media by continuing to film podcasts with her that, you know, aren't getting released anymore because you filmed them during the time she was being cancelled. Like, I just don't know my opinion on it. Like, I don't know. I'll kind of leave it there. The Trisha thing just confuses me a lot, I'll be honest. It's like one of the main things that confuses me on this. So I'll leave it there.